Hello, I'm Brother Morris, pastor of Bethany Church. I'm standing today in our sanctuary, a sanctuary that has missed your presence and missed our praise and worship. But soon we'll be back together in this sanctuary, praising and worshiping the Lord together. But when you come back, our sanctuary may look a little bit different from when the last time that you were here. Our goal is beginning on Sunday, June the 7th at 11 a.m. We'll begin once again worship service in the sanctuary. I want to go over a few guidelines for you that are recommendations from the Southern Baptist Convention, regulations from the Alabama Baptist, and guidelines from the Alabama State Health Department. As churches begin to reopen, they have suggested some things that might be of help to us. And so here are a few guidelines that we'll go by when we do reopen on Sunday, June the 7th. First of all, you'll notice when you start to come in our building that the doors will be propped open. Our canopy doors, they will be open, and our main doors at the highway, they will be propped open as well. And that will just ensure people an entrance and exit of no contact. You won't have to grab the door handle and open the door. They'll be open already. Also, we're going to provide hand sanitizers, and they'll be scattered throughout the building, and that'll be at your disposal if you would like to use that. Also, we're suggesting, if possible, that everyone wear a face mask or a facial covering as you enter and as you exit the building. Once you get in the sanctuary and you're seated in your pew, then you can feel free to take that down or take it off as you would like to. You'll also notice some of our pews, every other pew is going to be roped off. The Center for Disease Control has still suggested that we have the 6-foot social distancing, and as it turns out, every other pew here in our sanctuary is already 6 foot apart. So what we have done is we have marked off or roped off with ribbon every other pew. And so please, when you come in, don't move the ribbon and sit only in the open pews that are available at that time. And also, families are encouraged to sit together. Certainly feel free to do that, but as you sit together as a family, maintain that social distancing of 6 foot if possible between you and the next family or the next individuals. Also, we're asking, and this may be hard to do for good Baptists like us, but we're asking that you refrain from hugs and handshakes and fist bumps and elbow touches. Try to refrain from that social contact greeting. Hymn books, also, you'll notice that we have temporarily removed the hymn books from our sanctuary. And again, I put emphasis on temporarily because we do plan on putting those back. But the reason being, if we use the hymn books in our worship service, that would mean then we would have to take those up and we would have to clean, we'd have to disinfect each hymn book and then the pages that were used. And so we've taken the hymn books up temporarily, but we will put those back as soon as possible. But in the meantime, we still continue. We'll have the words to the songs up on the big screen, and certainly invite you to worship along using that. Two other things that you will notice as you leave the sanctuary or as you leave the building. When you dismiss, I will make the announcement at the end of the service that we will dismiss aisle by aisle or pew by pew, and we'll start with the back up here, and then we'll go forward, and just that way we're not all together dismissing at the same time, just to try to cut down on that social contact. Also, the other thing that you'll notice when you leave the sanctuary, you'll notice that we have the offering plates set up at the doors, and so each door is going to have offering plates. That way you can just drop your offering tithe off in the plate, and you don't have to touch it, and that way we don't pass the plate from person to person or contact to contact. And so be sure and observe that when you go out, that you drop your tithe and offering in. And so just know, we're trying to do all that we can to clean and disinfect all touch contact services as well as all restroom services after each service. And so we hope and pray that you know that you're safe and you're clean when you come in. Also, speaking of restrooms, if you do need the restroom facilities, we ask that you put your face covering back on when you enter into the restroom, and also try to maintain that social distancing as best that you can in the restroom and going in and coming out. And so if you know someone else is already in there, maybe wait till they come out just so that we don't have several people in the restrooms all at the same time. Also, another thing, we will not be providing bulletins, and so be aware of that, because the bulletins would be more of a hand-to-hand contact that we're trying to avoid. Also, at this point, we're temporarily not providing nursery workers, because if you had nursery workers, then again, that would be a person-to-person contact, or in this case, person-to-child or person-to-baby contact. And so we're trying to avoid that temporarily at this time. At least through the month of June, we will only be having Sunday morning worship service. And as the month progresses, we will continue to evaluate. But at this time, we'll not have Sunday school. We'll not have the Sunday night and Wednesday night services. But we do plan on adding those back as soon as possible. And as it seems possible to do that, we will. In closing, let me also add, out of respect for all of our worship attenders, if you have any of the following signs or symptoms, if you have a 100-degree temperature or more in the last 7 days, then please just continue to watch us online. Also, if you've been around anyone that has been in contact or a confirmed case of COVID-19, if you've been around them in the last 14 days, then just stay home and continue to watch us online. Also, if you're at high risk, you know your age and you know your health conditions, and we certainly would not want to put you at risk to come to church. And so we want everyone to feel comfortable when they come into worship, and so we want you coming into worship when you feel comfortable to do so. And so if you're just not ready to come back to public worship because of anxious or uneasy feelings, then that's okay. We don't want to pass any judgment or make anyone feel like they have to come back. You continue to watch us online from week to week. Also, for those of you that do come back to worship on that first Sunday in June, you may also notice our video table that is down front. We'll continue to have the online worship available, and you may notice our video and table set up down front, and that's just part of our video process. Also, I take very seriously, and just want you to know as your pastor, your health and the health and well-being of all of our church members. And that's why we're taking these extra precautions to make sure that our facilities are clean and that you're safe and well, and we provide a worshipful environment for when we do come back into public worship. So, once again, just let me remind you that we will begin our public worship on Sunday, June the 7th at 11 a.m., and we look forward to having you with us back together again in worship. Also, you'll notice that on Sunday, the 24th of this month, our children's minister, he will be preaching and bringing God's Word to you on that Sunday, and then also on the 31st, which would normally be our 5th Sunday, Youth Sunday, our youth pastor, Jamie Brothers, he will be bringing the message to you on the 31st. So pray for those two guys as they preach for us, and you will enjoy them for the next 2 weeks. God bless you, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you back in worship on Sunday, June the 7th at 11 a.m.